Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
I am Darren.
And I'm Bajo, and a huge show lined up today because of the arrival of Skylanders Swap Force.
I'm Flynn, the most awesome pilot in all Skylands. A little turbulent.
Our figurine collection is growing rapidly, Bajo. Also, Link takes to the high seas in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD.
Wind Waker originally came out for the GameCube console 10 whole years ago. It was always one of my favourite Zeldas.
And now we get to see if it's made any better or worse on the Wii U. Actually, Hex, would you mind picking that up from the mailroom?
Absolutely, after I finish reading the news.
Bajo, you know, I've just remembered I've got to go to talk to Goose about something.
Right, Darren, you know they've stepped up security in the mailroom now, so only someone like Kerry O'Brien will be able to walk in and out of there.
No, right, of course. Well, I'll see you in a bit.
All right.
After I do the thing.
Hex here with all the gaming news from around the world. Britain isn't the only place to receive a Minecraft makeover. Now closer to home, the Brisbane City Council has made its own Minecraft map. The map has to-scale recreations of many of the city's icons, including Brisbane City Hall, the Story Bridge and the Gabba. The council hopes the map can provide educational benefits to children and help promote the city. Players can download the map for themselves from the Brisbane City Council website. 2 ex-employees from Valve Software, the makers of Portal, have launched a crowdfunding campaign for a new type of augmented reality glasses. The glasses, known as Cast AR, can create holographic 3D projections which remain static, so users can freely move around them. The technology has many potential uses and could even recreate the holographic game of Star Wars chess seen in Episode 4, A New Hope. Just don't forget to let the Wookiee win.
It's not quite right.
It's close, Darren. What's it missing? Oh, hang on. Got an idea. Here we go.
That's it. It's a perfect Kerry O'Brien. Quick, to the mailroom.
Come on, Kerry. Oh, Darren, this plan better work. Otherwise, the mailman's going to eat us alive.
Don't worry, Goose. This plan is foolproof. Engage Kerry.
Go, Kerry.
Hello, this is Kerry O'Brien. I've come to collect the package for Bajo and Hex.
Yes, Mr. Kerry, sir. Right away, sir. You all right, Mr. Kerry? You seem a bit unwell.
Just leave the package on the desk and leave us.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and hop away on one leg.
Darren, that's too much.
He's doing it.
Darren, it worked. We got it. We got Wind Waker.
All right, Goose, now follow me. I've got a boat ready and everything.
Wait, did you say a boat, Darren?
I'm on a boat. Oh.
Darren, I almost didn't believe when you said you had a boat. What's it called?
Oh, welcome aboard the HRMS Circuit Breaker.
Ah, now that must stand for Her Royal Majesty's Service, right?
Not at all, Goose. It's Her Robot Majesty.
Oh, right. Well, this is a fine vessel, Captain Daz, and it's the perfect place to have a look at the HD release of the classic Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Anchors away, Goose! The Wind Waker was originally released in 2003 on the Nintendo GameCube, and it instantly divided many Zelda fans with its cel-shaded art style that gave the game a bright and colourful cartoon look.
After the wonderfully dark Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64, Link's first outing on the GameCube had a few fans worried that this new look was a bit too cutesy.
Fortunately, the game received many positive reviews for its unique spin on the Zelda legend, and it would go on to become one of the most beloved games in the series.
Now it's had a slick new coat of HD paint and some nifty upgrades for release on the Wii U.
You begin the game as Link, who lives on the tiny Outset Island. While celebrating his birthday, a mysterious bird appears, dropping a young pirate girl named Tetra before then kidnapping Link's sister. After saving Tetra, Link must set off with these pirates to save his sister and uncover the identity of a mysterious stranger who's planning to cover all the oceans in darkness. No prizes for guessing who that is, Goose.
Yeah, totally, Darren. In fact, be prepared to meet many familiar characters and enemy types from other Zelda games, but I guess that's what makes these games so fun to play.
Oh, indeed. Of course, the big difference in the Wind Waker is how you traverse the land, or in this case, it's sailing across wide expanses of ocean in the King of Red Lions, your trusty sailboat and companion.
Ah, yes, the sailing, Darren. I remember this was another thing that people either really loved or they hated about this game. Link uses a magical baton known as the Wind Waker to change the wind's direction and sail from one island to the next. For many, the sheer size of this ocean was overwhelming and players easily got tired of the long trips between locations. But Darren, I remember loving the freedom that this allowed, as you would peer off to the horizon and spot your next point of call. Even today, when compared with many other open world games, the ocean in Wind Waker still feels massive. And now with the Wii U pad serving as a sea chart, there's no need to constantly pause to check your location, which is a very welcome change.
As Link sails between the main islands to meet new characters and complete dungeons, he can also detour to many smaller islands scattered in between to search for treasure, battle enemy outposts, or solve mysteries that can require multiple visits.
And these little distractions are some of my favourite parts of the game, maybe even more so than the dungeons. Oh, now, don't get me wrong, Darren, I still really enjoyed them. They're all cleverly designed and full of interesting puzzles, but they do feel awkwardly placed throughout the game. For instance, during the first half of Link's quest, he sets out to find 3 ancient pearls. You complete the first 2 dungeons, receiving a pearl each time. But then you just sail around for a while before being given the 3rd pearl. There's no dungeon.
Affirmative. It is a big game, but just not always for the right reasons, especially when compared to newer games in the series such as Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. But you must remember those games came out after the Wind Waker, so it's not really fair to compare them.
It's just hard not to, Darren. I mean, I think I was expecting to see a few more features in this re-release, maybe a couple of extra dungeons or an orchestral version of the music.
Well, it's not all the same, Goose. For instance, Nintendo has added a handy new item, the Swift Sail, that now allows Link to sail at almost twice the speed and without the need to change wind direction.
Yeah, that is a great addition, and they have cut down on one particularly long quest near the end of the game that frustrated many gamers. Add to this the Wii U pad as an active inventory, the ability to write messages for other online players, plus a new heroic difficulty mode, and you can see that they've thought long and hard about how to improve on the original.
The game's graphics have also had a considerable overhaul, with new lighting effects, focus blur, and a softer palette that can now be enjoyed in wonderful widescreen. Just look at all that ocean to be explored!
Yeah, Darren, it is really pretty, and that HD is super crisp. But I never really thought the original needed that much of an upgrade. It was such a clever and simple art style, I even went back and checked the GameCube version, and to be honest, I think I kind of preferred it.
Another good point, Goose, but I think you're forgetting the best thing about this re-release. It will finally give spawnlings who never played the original a chance to set sail across this vast, wonderful world for the very first time.
Yes, I think you're right, Darren. This game still holds up as one of the most adventurous in the Zelda series. So I'm giving it 8 rubber chickens.
Well, it's still one of my favourite games of all time, and any excuse to recapture that breathtaking sense of adventure easily earns 9.5 rubber chickens from me.
Okay, Captain Daz, what course shall we set next?
Well, without a strong tailwind, I'll never make it back in time for the Skylanders review. I'll have to use my rocket boots. Sorry, Goose. Good luck navigating home yourself.
All right, Darren. I guess I'll just hang up. Oh, no! Oh, Darren's put a massive hole in the hull. Oh, I'm sinking! Darren, come back!
Oh, look, there are some sharks coming to greet you.
I just don't understand how they got past the mailroom security. God, we'll have to have a stern word with that robot, I think.
Yes, a stern talking too. But for now, let's go on with answering some questions, shall we?
Right.
What's in the inbox this week, Hex?
Okay, well, we've got this one from GGSP Love 203, who is in Franche Perth, which is in Queensland. Please reply, I'm desperate. Okay, well firstly, will you be able to put PS3 games into a PS4, and will you be able to put PS4 games into a PS3? Secondly, will Gran Turismo 6 have a Bugatti Veyron? And can you please show Gran Turismo 6 footage? Please! P.S. You guys are the best. And Bajo, can you do these faces? From GGSP Lover.
Well, GGSP Love 203, you absolutely will be able to put PS3 games into a PS4, or PS4 games into a PS3. But there's one small fact to keep in mind, is that they won't actually work. But you can absolutely put the disc in and enjoy the error message. You could even put an Xbox or a Wii game in there if you want to.
Well, I don't really think that's what they were asking, Bajo, but yeah, as you said, the consoles aren't cross-compatible, so you won't be able to play PS3 games in a PS4 or vice versa. In the future, Sony may be able to make it possible to play old games on the PS4 via the cloud, but backwards compatibility won't work out of the box. As for if there's a Veyron in GT6, well, we've heard that it's going to have all of the cars that were in GT5, and the Veyron isn't that, so yes, it will have it.
And here's some footage.
Okay, well, let's move on to this one from Tyler, who is in Freeling, South Australia.
I am 6, yo, and want to know if there are any new LEGO games coming out next year.
Well, Tyler, there's 2 LEGO games that we know of coming out next year. First of all, there's going to be the video game of the LEGO movie, which is going to be called the LEGO Movie Video Game, huh?
Wonder how long it took them to come up with that title, Hex. Quite imaginative. But yes, that's going to be coming out on just about every console sometime next year, probably when the movie comes out, I'd say. Other than that, there's also the upcoming MMO LEGO minifigures online, and that's going to be available on PC next year.
Hopefully it fares better than the other LEGO MMO, LEGO Universe, which never actually came out here properly and then was shut down completely.
Shut down. Yes, fingers crossed on that one, Hex, but other than those 2, there aren't any other LEGO games we know of planned for 2014. But to be honest, we'd be surprised if there aren't 1 or 2 or 1,000 more in the works.
All right, well, let's move on to this one from Archer, who is in Port Lincoln, South Australia.
I used to have a lot of LEGO, Hex.
Really?
Huge amount, and it was so much fun. I had a big bag of it, and then my cat thought it was kitty litter and did a big poopy in it, and after that it was never the same. And I stopped playing with
LEGO. Oh no, because you wouldn't be able to clean it out of all the little...
It's difficult.
Oh no,
Yep.
Gross, yuck.
Yep.
Is the new Need for Speed game better than Disney Infinity? Because I want to get them both, but I don't want to spend much money because they seem like really cool games, but I can't choose which one to get. I really like car games, and Disney Infinity looks like a cool game.
Well, Archer, we honestly can't answer that since we haven't had a chance to review the new Need for Speed game yet, so we don't know how good it is. But they are very different games, so it's quite hard to compare those 2, I think.
What we could say is, if you want Disney Infinity and like car games, then you could always get it and pick the Disney Cars playset, which is basically its own racing game.
Although that might be a touch expensive because you have to buy the game and also the playset. And there are loads of great car games out there that have been out for quite a while that you might be able to pick up quite cheaply. You could probably even get maybe 3 or 4 or even 5 racing games for around the same price.
That's true, but then he wouldn't have Disney Infinity. Anyway, I don't know how much help that was for you, Archer, but I guess go with your heart. But let's move on to this one now from Lewis, who is in outer space in Canberra, in the Australian Capital Territory.
And it's in outer space.
Yes.
Canberra's also in outer space. That's pretty cool. No wonder they have such bad internet down there.
Heidi-ho. How do you make a skyscraper in SimCity? Also, my dad wants to know if you can play this game offline. Also, has Darren made any cities? Also, our toaster wants to tell Darren something. Also, can Hex say this? And also, can Bargo say this? Lewis out.
Well, Lewis, skyscrapers will start appearing in your city automatically once you have enough population and the land value is high enough. And it also has to be zoned for high-density commercial or residential. Industrial buildings don't ever turn into skyscrapers.
So your population will grow naturally over time as you expand, but to raise land value, you have to keep population low, and by building a few parks around the place, then you can instantly raise land value. The higher the land value, the nicer the buildings will be. Also, you need to have enough space in between roads, otherwise they can't develop.
Yes, and Darren has made a few little cities, but let me just call him up and see if he can decipher that message. It's ringing.
Hello, Bajo.
Hi, Darren. Okay, Darren, first of all, you're in big trouble for running off with Wind Waker, and I'm actually calling you for a different reason, but we'll get to that later. A Spawnling has sent in a message from their toaster, but it's in binary, and we have no idea what it says. Let me just send it through to an email here so you can decipher
no
for
need,
us.
Bajo. I can see it on your monitor.
How can you see it on my monitor, Darren? How are you able to... Oh, Darren, you shouldn't do that to us. How did you get here?
Oh, I was just testing my stealth mode. Did it work?
Yeah, it was super effective.
Okay, well, Darren, what does the message say?
Oh, let me see. Oh, that's nice. It says, I love you. I seem to have that effect on kitchen appliances.
That's really cute, Darren.
All right, well, maybe you should go back to the office now and dust off our Skylanders figurines because we've got more questions to answer.
Oh, that's okay. I can stay and help. Next question, Hex.
Great.
Okay, well, next up we have this question from Tim.
Negative. We have this one from Talia in Perth, Western Australia. Hello. Shh, Hex, you're my favourite. Heh. On Minecraft, how do you get the things that travel along the train tracks? By the way, I'm 9 years old. Darren, you're pretty cool. I don't know what other people say about you. You're just a robot. Bye-bye. Beep. Oh, thank you, Talia. You're too kind.
Way to hijack the questions, Darren, although that was a pretty good question, seeing as, you know, I'm the favourite. You see that, Budgie? She said that I'm the favourite.
Yeah, I did see that. Maybe,
I'm the favourite.
Maybe Bo should go into stealth mode. But I bet you can't do this though, Hex, can you? See that? Wiggling the ears.
You're wiggling your ears.
So I'm pretty awesome
yeah,
as
well, I can do cartwheels.
Can you? I can totally do cartwheels too when I feel like it. Can you do hand farts?
I'm not gonna... Let me try.
Well, they're really hard. I can't do them either.
Well, Talia, I assume you're talking about making minecarts to go along the tracks. To get them, you'll need to find 5 pieces of iron ore and then smelt the ore into iron ingots in a furnace. Then, using a crafting table, place the ingots like so, and voila! 1 minecart. All you need to do then is equip the cart and place it on the tracks. And on that note, we're out of time for this week. And don't forget to send your questions in here.
Right, on to Skylanders.
Oh, okay.
I said on to Skylanders. Hurry, chop chop.
I think I did one, but it was really quiet.
Oh, well done, Hex. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, guys, Skylanders time.
Yep, I've got my figurines all good to go here, and looking back, I think it's easy to see why Skylanders was such a success story. I mean, the concept behind it is pretty cool. You just grab one of these figures and drop it onto the portal and they appear in the game. After that novelty wore off though, there wasn't a whole lot to keep an experienced gamer like me interested. But it looks like third time may be a charm for Skylanders because I actually had a lot of fun with Swap Force.
It's moments like these when it's nice to have doors!
Yes, Swap Force is a huge jump over last year's disappointing Giants. The drab locations in those original games looked almost last generation. But Swap Force looks stunning, with islands stretching off into the distance. And even though the levels are a lot bigger, they're still crammed in loads of gorgeous little details like swaying grass. Plus there's so much going on in the new rail grinding sections.
Regular villain Chaos is back with a new plan to destroy the Skylands. He's got his hands on an evilizer gun that essentially turns harmless animals into violent monsters.
Behold!
The character cutscenes have always been a highlight in Skylanders games. The voice acting just has so much personality, especially your friend Flynn. As usual, he bumbles his way through the adventure while the Skylanders do the real work.
Iron Jaw Gulch is somewhere to the west. East. Either way, we're heading in the wrong direction. Probably. You know what? It'll be fine.
Yeah, speaking of the Skylanders, we should mention how the Swap Force fit in. They're an ancient race of Skylanders who were sucked into a volcano that somehow gave them the ability to swap their torsos with each other.
outrageous! I've flown into lots of volcanoes, and I can tell you, lava does not somehow give you body part swapping powers. It's ridiculous.
Yes, all right, Darren. It was a magical volcano after all.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
Well, let's run you through how the actual Swap Force gameplay actually works. You start off with these two characters. You could play through to the end just as one of them, but you're certainly encouraged to mix it up. You can easily just pull them apart and make new variations, like this bomb-throwing octopus.
Burn and learn!
At first I thought the leg swapping was a bit of a dud. I mean, you can only start with jet boots or octopus legs. I've seen Darren's jet boots in action, so I obviously went for them, expecting to be able to blitz around super quickly, but they barely went any faster than the octopus legs. But you can eventually upgrade them, so they do go a lot faster.
And they've finally added a much-needed jump to every character as well. Finally.
Yes, being able to bring all of the Skylanders 1 and 2 characters into the new game is handy, and look, I think they've done a pretty good job of making the swappable characters worthwhile. Every character is linked to an element, like fire, water, air, and so on. In the previous games, you only really used a character's element as a glorified key to unlock doors, and the only thing the Giants really did was lift heavy objects at specific points. Now, with the Swap Force, there are specific challenges that play to each character's movement style. These ladder symbols mean you can use a climbing character to scale a dangerous cliff face, and using your jet boots at a rocket door lets you take on a cool flying challenge.
I was happy to see there's a bit more depth in the combat now. You can cleverly mix up short and long range attacks. This guy can shoot out piranhas to keep enemies busy while he moves in for some sword attacks. Plus he can also summon a pirate ship. Awesome!
That said, although they've improved a lot of things with this sequel, there's still a lot of problems as well. There are locked doors all over the place. These new double element doors make it even harder to have all the right character pieces.
Only Skylanders from the Earth and Tech elements can unlock this gate.
And of course, there are all the swap challenge doors we mentioned before.
Only a swap Skylander with the dig ability can activate this swap zone.
You'll only be able to get into a fraction of these with the two characters you start with. I mean, it's a pretty cheeky move to encourage you to buy all of the figures.
Affirmative. And the game also has you collecting those annoying soul gems, which usually just unlock powers for the characters you don't have. You'll cough up the price of a console if you buy everything you need to unlock everything in the game.
Cheeky.
Cheeky.
I also felt like the save system was pretty dated. It only saves every 20 or 30 minutes or so, and I found that quite frustrating. And I can only imagine how much worse this would be for grown-ups trying to play the game in short bursts with a younger spawnling and being forced to replay sections constantly. I just don't understand why it can't save every few minutes.
Yeah, that is a shame about the save games, because in almost every other way, this new Skylanders is designed very well. The game drip feeds you a constant stream of loot, and almost everything you smash is filled with treasure. And that means you always have that feeling of progress and reward.
Yeah, that's a good point, and they've also made the controls really easy to use. There's no manual camera control at all, but the view follows you, so I never really missed it.
You know, after playing Giants last year, I really wasn't keen to play another Skylanders game, but I think Swap Force really has saved this series. They've improved on just about every problem from the previous games, so I'm giving it 8.
Yeah, I still think Disney Infinity is a better game, especially with that toy box mode, but Skylanders is definitely on the right track, and I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 as well, thanks. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. And hey, Darren, when do Hex and I get to go out on your boat?
Oh, well, I guess I do need someone to scrub the poop deck.
Forget I mentioned it.
Next week in the show, get ready to catch them all, because we're going to review Pokemon X and Y.
Pokemon!
What do you think the X and Y stands for?
Ooh, maybe X and Y chromosomes?
Or maybe Generation X and Generation Y?
No, the X and Y are the first letters of the names of the legendaries, and they allude to their physical shape.
Thanks, Darren. Hopefully we can catch one in time for next episode. Until then, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
Hey, Darren, have you seen Goose? I haven't seen him since you guys did that review.
Oh, I left him to sail back. He's getting some sun and feeding the fish.
Oh.